If you don't like that, you should like not be in here. Da-da-da-da. Wait, not that one. Okay. So I put the resources in. I should put this one in there, not that one. Edit. Okay. Okay, so if you go to the Google Plus community from the calendar, you click on more details, you can get to the calendar events. But I also linked the calendar events on the Google Classroom and made an assignment on Google Classroom. That has all the resources. Okay, so please don't play the video. So let's first go to so if you get in there on the side, you go to the Google Plus community. Jump in link is when you're home. 2 hangouts in the same place at the same time does that. So you don't. You're not going to watch the video, nor are you going to participate in the video. You're going to be here live. Get it? So are you easier? So you should join. You should join all your communities. Okay. In the community, there's a bank account. Yeah. Well, I would add there. And then you go to, calendar. Okay, so then the 515. Okay. And then scroll down to more details. Okay, so the reason why you couldn't see it, there you go. Yeah. So the reason why it says busy is because that account you're logged into is not a member of the community. So I would just join the community with all your accounts, no matter what you're logged into, you can see it without stress. That does mean you get 2, 3, 4 times as much email. So just, heads up on that.
Or you can turn them off, right? The notifications.
You can turn off the notifications. So what I do is I just set up priority inbox. So in my Gmail, I hover over the word inbox, and then there's a little drop down arrow, and I choose priority inbox. So it puts all those notifications and stuff at the bottom, because I get all that and some, plus my 50,000 followers on Twitter. Like every time they tweet, I get an email for that too. So I manage it just fine by doing the priority inbox so that those things that are less important are at the bottom, then it doesn't bother me. I don't know. I still want to get the notifications. I just want to look at them on my turn. So it's definitely something to All right, so we're getting started here. Hey, Justin, thanks for joining in. If you notice in the Google Classroom, I put the links, but I'll also put all of the links into the slides and onto the event page. If I can remember to make sure they all get there, then hopefully you'll be able to find it in one of those spots. So the first thing is I'll just link right here in the chat to the slides. So if everyone wants to kind of hang out in the slides with me for a second, or for more than a second. We're gonna do several things, and then I'm gonna go to the event, collaborative slides. I'm gonna put that there. Okay, we got one viewer. And then I'm gonna screen share, yeah, that. Okay, so here's what we're doing tonight is I'm doing this learning objectives worksheet where we're going to talk about learning objectives. But because it's a workshop, let me take off the screen share. Because it's a workshop, I'm going to do this with a bunch of different tools so you can see some different ways that you can solicit ideas from students. So my learning objective here is for you to know what learning objectives are, but also my learning objective is for you to think of what are different tools that you can use with students to solicit their input so that you have some different things like that, okay? So it's gonna feel a little bit manic, like seriously, we're using 5 different tools, I forget however many I picked. That will be like nuts, but understand that's the objective, is to try a bunch of different stuff so that you walk away like figuring out some different things that you want to try. So my first question to you is, what technology makes learning better? What technology makes learning better? So why don't you go into the slides? Why don't you go into the slides, click on slide 1. Let me do a screen share on this so you can see what I'm talking about. Screen share. Okay, go into the slides, click on slide 1, and then you'll click the little drop downy arrow next to the plus. Click on the arrow to choose the yellow slide. So you tell me, what technology makes learning better? So I'm going to have you do a bunch of technology tonight. Why am I doing that? Does it make learning better? So go ahead and make me a slide. Tell me what you think. What technology makes learning better? You guys are so good. All right. I love Google Slides. Like, I love Google Slides. Okay, so let's read through some of these. Jamie says Google Classroom, Google Docs. Now, I'm not calling anybody out because first of all, I'll give you, don't undo it, put it back. Cheater. I'll tell you, I'll give you the answer first because I'm going to call every single one of you out. You ready? And the answer is there is no technology that makes learning better. What makes learning better is you guys. You either engage the students in their learning or you didn't. It's your job to do that. So it's not the technology. So Jamie, Google Classroom and Google Docs is a great answer. But if I just give you my worksheet and I ask you to fill out your worksheet answers on a Google Doc, is that better learning?
No.
Same task, same outcome. Same task, same outcome. So Google Docs can improve the learning if you use it for things like I love you guys, right? If you use it for collaborating, it could be better, right? It's the task. What are you doing with it? Access to the internet. There's lots of classrooms that have access to the internet and they don't even use it, number 1. Number 2, here's what I want to know. How many of you would let your students have 24/7 access to Google and YouTube, including during your test? I have one hand. Why not? In the real world, they literally have it in their pocket 24/7. I sleep with my phone.
No joke, there have been times 3 o'clock in the morning, I wake up and I look stuff up on my phone. Anyone else? When's the last time you were in a social situation where someone didn't look something up? So what's the skill here? Just saying. All right. The use of Microsoft Office is useful. I would debate that, but okay. I'm a Google fan. Anything that helps you teach better. The only thing that helps you teach better is what you design. You can use anything. You can hack it for learning. Google Classroom can, if I take all my PDFs, take all my worksheets and I scan them and I load them up to Google Classroom. Anyone want to be in that class? Anyone? No, I didn't think so. That was a loaded question. Right? Exactly, Carla, how the teacher implements technology. Did you go back in and change your answer? Maybe. All right, I like your style. Okay, use technology to collaborate. Technology will not make teachers teach better. You know what? That's so the truth. In fact, technology will exacerbate bad teaching. You'll really see bad teaching in action when you just throw technology in there. Oh, David, that is so true. It might make it worse. Yep, you got it. There's no technology that makes learning better. It's up to the teacher to make the learning better, also to collaborate. Thank you, Antonio. Hey. Thank you for demonstrating your learning. Technology helps students communicate and helps with active learning. I like that. Right? We're looking at switching the tasks. We're not talking about the tool. We're talking about how we're using it. Excelente. Cindy, the internet in general, there are many ways of communicating and researching. But that's it, right? Researching, asking more critical thinking questions and getting kids in deeper into the learning rather than just memorizing what we call DOK1 level questions. So nice job. Okay. Lee, the internet, search engines. Yep, those are all good things. Collaborate and more with the internet. Thanks. All right. So we're talking about learning objectives. This is something that you want to screenshot, copy and paste into your notes. This is the definition of learning objectives. It's what the students know or are able to do at the end of the lesson. Doesn't that sound simple? I'm going to tell you right now, it's crazy hard. And I'm going to prove it to you because we're going to practice it and I'm going to make you cry. Maybe. That's not my goal. What students know or are able to do at the end of the lesson. Now, are you able to get back to these slides later? Try this one. File, go to the File menu. Download as PNG. Here's how you cheat this one. File, download as PNG. It downloads that slide as a picture, and you can just drag and drop it into your notes. What? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, the whole document, you'd have to do it one slide at a time. Good times. Use critical thinking and decide which slides are most important. Okay, number 20. I'm on slide 20. Slide 20. This is why it's so hard, because the learning objective is not the activity. And you so badly want to write an essay. Essay writing might be your learning objective, but it's probably your task. So it's not the activity, it's not the task. And so this is what makes it super hard, is how do you write a learning objective that does not mention the task? Yikes. Okay, so you want it to be broad enough that how the student demonstrates the learning can vary. So a really good learning objective could have multiple ways of demonstrating that. So if there's one way, that's a pretty good clue that you wrote down the activity and not the learning objective. Like, what's the learning you want to get out of that? Okay, so I had 2 rules. Rule number 1 starts with a verb. And this is really hard because old school is that they'll tell you to start it with students will. No duh. We are teaching students and not space aliens or chairs. You can leave that off. Start with the verb, get to the point. Yes, we are talking about students. Now, will you possibly have an old school administrator who still wants you to write on the board. Students will, you might. I can't control that. But what I want you to do, someone do Control Z, put that back. Yeah, someone erased it. You know what? I'm going to just put it right back. I'm going to show you a trick right now of how to solve this problem. Number one, it's okay. Start with the verb. So when you do collaborative Google Slides, that's one of my favorite activities, but you have to expect that sometimes someone will accidentally mess with it. So here's my trick. I make the slide, like I don't want anyone messing with this, right? So I make the slide and I go File, Download As, and I download it as a PNG image, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a blank slide. I'm going to let my background, there's a background button in the toolbar. Choose my image. I'm going to upload the image from the downloads. I go to the downloads. There's that slide I just downloaded. Done. And then I'll just delete that one. Okay, so go ahead. Try and delete my text. Now, so my trick is I make the slide, I download it as an image, and then I place that image as the background on a blank slide. Now you can't edit my text. So when you're doing collaborative things, sometimes that can be really handy. Hey, did someone just delete my slide? You guys, I got news for you. I still have that slide. All right, I have another rule. And that rule is do not get upset when kids act like kids. So I asked you, which technology improves learning? Like what technology should you absolutely use or else you are damaging kids? Right? There's none. So what you should do is pick 3. What 3 tools are you going to use and you're going to use it again and then use it again and then use it again? So the technology doesn't get in the way of the learning. So I love collaborative Google Slides, and then I'm going to do collaborative Google Slides. And then my next activity, just for fun, collaborative Google Slides. And to follow that up, I'm going to do collaborative Google Slides again. Now, I don't do it that way in this class because my point is to introduce you to a whole bunch of different stuff, but I also don't expect you to master it. But in your classrooms, should you every day do a different tool? No. No. Right? You don't even know how to use that tool. So you should use it until you feel like it's almost like driving a stick shift when you don't even realize you're shifting, but you really get good at driving it. So when you've used a tool so much that you feel like you've got it down and your students got it down, then introduce a new one. So just start with 3 and then slowly introduce one at a time. So slides, my trick is I download the slide as an image, and I set it as the background so that we can collaborate. Because the first time you collaborate, the second time you collaborate, someone will cry. There will be tears. Somebody's slide got deleted. That's going to happen. Expect it. So you don't make an activity where if someone's work gets deleted, it's a big deal. Like everyone get a slide and put your your favorite vocabulary word on it. If someone deletes it, it's just formative assessment. We're just trying to see what you got. It's not that big of a deal. By the 3rd or 4th time you've done collaborative Google Slides, people deleting each other's stuff, it's not funny anymore. It's funny, right? It's funny the first time, whoever did it. I commend you. Get out of your system. Let's move on. All right. Don't get upset when kids act like kids. That's a good rule. Number 2. You might have 20 learning objectives. You might have 20 of them. Then write it out in 20 bullet points. Don't say and. So you want it to be something you can yes, they did it, or no, they didn't. If you write 2 things that might have done half of it, I can't check that off, right? So make it something that's yep, they got that, or no, they didn't. And then just list out multiple ones. So just make a list. Don't say and. Don't say and, okay? Ready? So the first thing I'm going to do is just going to see what you come up with. We're going to go to Padlet. So I got a Padlet here. Let me get these links into all the places. I'm putting it into the chat for Justin. And I'm putting it on the Padlet. It's already in Google Classroom. So Padlet is like a little bulletin board and allows people to contribute. Please tell me, does it work? So it's the Padlet link. So I'm on slide number 25. So you should be able to, on slide 25, like you click on the hyperlink and then it creates a little link below it. And you have to click on the link below it. So it should open up the Padlet. So you can link to it from Google Classroom, or I put it a whole bunch of places. So you should be here on the Padlet. So someone wrote a test. Write me a learning objective. Write me a learning objective. I'm going to click the little plus on here. Nope. That made me a new Padlet. Ah! That's not what I wanted to do. That's okay. I'm going to be honest. I don't really use Padlet. But I know a lot of people who like it. So that would be fun. How do I? Double click. There we go. See? I learned from you guys. Double click. Write a learning objective. Don't write the word learning, smarty pants. Can you give me an example of a learning objective? Am I able to move yours? No, I can only move my own. Interesting. Dr. Miller likes to use Padlet. I like to use spreadsheets. See what I'm saying? Like pick your 3 things and just use it all the time. Have you guys already noticed this semester they like spreadsheets?
No.
You'll notice a lot more. A lot more. They're like the bestest, in my opinion. But don't feel pressured that you need to be, you might really get excited about Padlet and you should use Padlet. It's a good one. Okay, so we've got compose a 12-bar blues piece using guitar, bass guitar, drum set, and saxophone. Is that a learning objective? Compose a 12-bar blues piece using guitar, bass guitar, drum set, and saxophone as the instruments. That's very specific, right? That is the task. That's the task. That's the activity. So what is the learning that comes out of it? What are they supposed to learn? I keep trying. This is hard. I'm going to be, it's hard. Okay? Be able to identify all 50 states on a map. Let's just cut that down to identify all 50 states on a map. Less is more. We're trying to get to the point, be clear and concise. At the end of the lesson, what do they know or are able to do? They know all 50 states. Okay, that's good. Arrange the rock cycle correctly. Task or learning objective? Task. What is the learning objective? Don't use the word understand. I see some of you doing that. Understand's too vague. Try and be more specific with your verb. Okay. Correctly label the processes is task. Know 5 different styles of art. So can we use a different word besides know, maybe? So what would be something to be more specific? Identify. And what I like about that is that the student can demonstrate that they've learned something, but it doesn't have to be specifically what you want them to know. Right? It is more broad. It's talking, with the learning. Okay, we have your analyze a literature piece. Find what figurative tools and resources are found in the piece. What say you? Okay, compare and contrast two pieces of literature from different eras. Is that an activity or learning objective? It's cheating because I wrote this as activity. See, this is hard. You're not describing the steps of the lesson. The steps of the lesson go in the lesson steps. This is the learning outcome. So what do you want them to learn from pieces of literature from different eras? How would you define becoming proficient? Do you see how that could be a little bit too squishy? Why are we having them analyze Spanish literature? What's the learning in that? Analyzing is a task. All right, I'm going to pull up something that I don't like. I'm going to go to images.google.com. I'm going to type in DOK. When I type in DOK, this chart always comes up, and I don't really like this chart. I'm going to drop this into the notes. Watch how I can just steal this. Link. Whoop. I just dragged it right on my slides. Isn't that good? Shouldn't steal things off the internet. So I don't like this because DOK, I'm going to make a little note here. DOK chart should not be about verbs. So here's the problem with this chart. And DOK is how much critical thinking a student is doing. Critical thinking and verbs don't go together necessarily, so this can be very misleading, this chart. But you know what's good about this chart? It gives me some good verbs to use in my learning objectives. But these are good verbs for my learning objectives. Okay. Let's abandon the Padlet. We're going to try round 2. We're going to go to my favorite tool. So first, we come back to slide 26 and look at some verbs that you might want to use. Now be careful because, again, we're trying to identify what's the learning, not what the task is. So these are just a good list of verbs to use. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be all of them are awesome. So we are on slide number 27 where I have this spreadsheet. Yes, I do. We're going to do this spreadsheet. What? Spreadsheets are awesome. I'm going to link to spreadsheet. Drop that in there. So we're going to make what's the learning objective versus the activity. Now let's talk about DOK level, just real quick. DOK level is how much critical thinking the student is doing. So DOK 1 is memorize, follow steps. DOK 2 is it's got to be multi-step with some sort of a decision point. It should not be that you could follow an exact recipe, but there's a right answer. DOK 3 is going to really be having the student doing their own thinking, making a claim and justifying it. And DOK 4 is extended thinking, that they can apply what they've learned to something new. Okay? So why don't we try seeing how we can fill out this chart. So rule number 1, when you are collaborating, if you see somebody near your space, just move. Let it go. Just let it go. Don't fight over a space. Get a new slide, get a new cell, get a new row. Don't defend your turf. I like to look back at that chart for some verbs. By the way, if you hold down Mac users Command Enter, PC users Control Enter while you're editing a cell, it'll let you go to the next row within the same cell. So if you want to do like bullet points. Let's make this more verb-like. Let's make it write instead of write a body paragraph. Okay. I have some room for comments that you can comment on other people's. just went on this part.
There can only be one learning objective per lesson plan?
No. You might have 20 of them. Like, no, you would just want to list them out separately. So that way you can identify. So the question was, should you only have one learning objective? No, you can have multiple learning objectives. You just want to list them out separately. Like, then I can check off, did the kid learn this? Did the kid learn that? If you this and this and this, then it gets muddy. So you want to really focus on the learning. A lot of times we are just like so in love with our assignment. Your assignment is not what's important. What's important is the learning. So my kids teacher, my kids teacher assigned them to make a poster of the solar system. What DOK level is that? They spent all this time cutting out construction paper and gluing it to a big construction board of, how many planets are there now? 8 of the 8 planets. What DOK level is that? How much critical thinking is there in, it's DOK 1. How much time in thought and care did the kids put into that? It's better than listing it. I like it, the fact that the kids are at least, touching it and placing Mars and getting some kinesthetic activity in there, so it's not so awful. My first problem with this activity is that every single kid had the same project outcome. Like, that's not creativity, right? So my son, he asked, can he do it in Minecraft? He spent weeks recreating the solar system in Minecraft. And he agonized over, and he went to the library and checked out a big stack of books about the solar system. Mind you, my son is like super introverted. He won't go to the library because he has to talk to the librarian, but he was so into doing this in Minecraft. For those of you who don't know what Minecraft is, it's virtual 3D Legos. So he went in, got a big stack of books. He did research, and he looked up all kinds of stuff about the solar system. And then he had to figure out how to rebuild and create it and model it in Minecraft. And so then he's like, explains why he used whatever materials he used. Like, he made one planet out of wool because, and is able to explain the characteristics of the planet and why using wool made sense in that particular case. And then he's just like, how could he make the gases of Venus change colors in Minecraft? And he just like really agonized over how to model this using Minecraft tools. What DOK level is that? It's not 4. It's definitely more than 1, right? Oh, by the way, he also then demonstrated it to his class. He got up in front of his class, which my son doesn't talk to anybody, and was like, look at my Minecraft.
3? It
would be 3, right? A lot of the times the things that you think are really critical thinking, most of the time those are actually DOK 3 because you're making a claim and citing it with evidence. That's going to be a DOK 3. You're modeling it. You're demonstrating a process. But through your own understanding, you're not just mimicking what the teacher did. And that's what makes DOK really tricky is, let's say I showed you a model and then you modeled it using the same model. What critical thinking is in that? Right? It's DOK 1 because I copied it. So just writing down the task, like any one of these, like I put down DOK, well, I put DOK 3 for the Minecraft solar system, but a kid could have just looked up some facts and slapped some stuff together in Minecraft, then it would be DOK 1 and maybe DOK 2, depending. So it really depends on how much critical thinking the student puts into it. So it's hard to like take a task and say what DOK level is, because how much you scaffold it and what you tell kids, how much thinking you do for them reduces the DOK level. All right. This has way too much written in there. Too much written in here. Let's simplify this down. Synthesize a drill site. Analyze another group site. So as soon as you have your analyze another group site, that is the task. And then you've got a third thing, design a cost-effective drill plan. That is also a task. Now, it might be DOK 4 because they're taking what they've learned and they're applying it to a situation that they don't know. But we've got tasks mixed in with and multiple learning objectives. So how can we redo this one? Let's, so we're drilling for oil in California geology activity. So what are we hoping that they understand, that they know, that they're able to do at the end of the lesson?
How about that?
We want them to be able to, they should be able to identify where to drill, right?
Yeah, well, because the activity pretty much is they make a little drill site with a bunch of random things, and they get skewers and try to find a little balloon.
Okay, how do they determine where to drill?
They just have to look around.
So,
Like,
but there's clues that they're looking for, right?
Depending on however the group made the box. Yeah, like there might be shells or rocks on top, so obviously you want to drill where there's shells or rocks.
Okay, so they need to be able to look for some clues and determine a spot. So what DOK level is that? So here's the question. When we talk about complexity, you take a rocket to the moon, parenting kids. I saw someone on Barbara Kalinsky put this example on the website. Taking a rocket to the moon is hard. So is parenting. But can I write you a recipe step by step of how to build this rocket and send it to the moon? And anybody who at least had the ability to follow the steps could do this and get the rocket successfully to the moon. So it's hard, but not complex. Versus parenting. Can I write you some steps to follow? Step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this, and your kid will behave in this exact way? No, because parenting is complex. So when you're looking at your task can be really hard. So think about math problems. You got a train going 70 miles an hour at, whatever, and you got a second train coming at 90 miles an hour. What time do they collide? I'll tell you, most of my students can't answer that no matter how much time we go over it. It's hard. What DOK level is that? It's DOK 1. It's DOK 1 because guess what I gave them? Step 1, write down this formula. Step 2, identify the speed that they were going. Step 3, right? If they really wanted to take the math problem and put it step by step with this, side by side with the steps I gave them, if they went through and they understood what I said to them, they'd be able to follow those steps and find the answer. So it's hard, but it's not complex. So we're looking at identifying drill sites. If I tell them, step 1, look at the ground. Step 2, look for where there is little bits of whatever he said.
Sure.
Shells. Step 3, jam your stick right there. What DOK level is that?
1.
That's 1. And how can we raise this up? How can we increase the critical thinking for students to do the same thing?
Well, first of all, I'll give them directions.
Less directions,
Then
yeah.
go on themselves, yeah. Good. And just make them figure things out.
Right? Having kids do some inquiries, and then they have to do a little bit of
trial and error,
Yeah,
and
research.
research, right? That way, now finding where to drill has an answer, right? They can do some research, they can trial and error, so it's probably just geocaching, right? Probably just geocaching. But do you see how you approach it can take the same task and change the DOK level? So it's real, DOK is hard. I feel like I kind of know it, but I'm shamed all the time. So I'm like, no, Alice, it certainly is not. And we have a debate about it. I mean, people who really are experts at it, I mean, there's so many reasons why the level of complexity is hard to identify. So don't get ego around DOK. Just realize it's hard. I mean, DOK is just hard to identify. Okay, so here we have learn. Let's not use learn. Learn's not a great verb because that's what we're trying to, it's the learning objective. So they're identifying, they're critiquing, they are, what are we doing? This is just a good verb list. Estimating, constructing. That's a better one for the, construct. No, I'm still identifying. We're not constructing knowledge. Okay. For this one, demonstrate how to count 100 by tens. Let's just, option shift 5, just count to 100 by tens. Isn't that the learning objective? Count to 100. Count is a good verb. Less is more. Because the more stuff you say, you start creeping over into the activity. So when I talk about, hey, did the kids learn about the planet? How many different activities could I have them do to learn about the planets? Almost unlimited. I put on here, right? You use a Taylor Swift song about the planet. Do it in Minecraft. Make a poster out of it. Get mud balls from outside and like whatever. Right? You can paper mache them. Lots of activities. Okay. Be able to dribble basketball from one end to the other end of the basketball court. That sounds like the assessment. What do you really, at the end of the lesson, what can they do? During the lesson, they're doing it from end to end. How about just dribble a basketball? You can put on some additional qualifiers on there, but keep it simple. At the end of the day, can they dribble a basketball? Read a bibliography. Apply MLA. We'll put that one on there for me. You see how broad that is? I could put that in any topic. How about identify 10 key dates? And they're not telling you which 10 they are. Because now you have to think critically to justify that they're key dates. And what if you had a student who's just really into women's history, feminism? And they went out and they did all this research and work around the Civil War from the perspective of women. Are you upset about that? I wouldn't be upset about that. I'd be like, rock on. I mean, like, they're interested in it. They put in all this work to learn about something, and it's not what I'm into. You gotta think about that. How can you write your things in a way that gives students the ability to interject their own interests? All right, so let's close that tool. What's the next tool I got? I got todaysmeet.com/CI149. We're going to beat this horse to death. So alicekeeler.com/CI149.
Okay, write me so you're trying it out with the today's meet. I pasted it in a lot of places. It should be in the Google Classroom. Is it on the slides? Let me add it to the slides. I don't think I put it in there. Here we go. I'll make another one of these. Duplicate. This one is today's meet. Should you, with your students, do 5 different tools? No. My learning objectives. Use different tools. I'm teaching technology. I got different objectives than you do. Okay, so on today's meet, you guys on the same one that I'm on, todaysmeet.com/CI149? Okay. Oh, there we go. Today's meet can be a good way to let kids chat and back channel during a class discussion. So why don't you write me a learning objective? There's my learning objective. Now, since my trying to teach you the technology, my learning objective might be that I would have you apply it to an assignment or lesson plan. Let me write it that way. Ah.
Wow.
limitation on this in Paddle is I'm having a hard time like replying back to specific ones, which is why I like the spreadsheet, why I like the Google Slides, because I can insert comments specifically on it. But this is really great just for having a discussion in the back channel. So anyone here doing create a poster, you are next with the create a poster. Is Cindy in person or online? Cindy, thank you.
Cindy, so think about, if you have, would all of your students care about Mario? If one of your students is tell me about Mario Benedetto.
The Spanish poet.
So are there any other Spanish poets that some of your students might relate to and that you would be perfectly happy if they critique their poem?
Yeah.
So then leave that part off.
So like critique any Spanish poet.
Yes, but then let's even just say more specifically, a famous Spanish poet or someone from a particular era.
Okay.
It might be a little safe if you say the word any. So,
Critique a Spanish poet from the 18th century.
yeah, all right. So, always want to think to yourself, whatever I'm doing, 100% of my students aren't going to be like into that particular exact thing. If the student did it with somebody else or something else, would I be happy with that? Then that's not part of the learning objective. The learning objective is looking at Spanish poetry, right? Is understanding vocabulary. I don't want to use the word understand. I want to try to avoid that. That in itself is super hard.
Yeah.
Even myself, I'll say it, but like when I sit down and write it, someone like, I want to understand vocabulary from 18th century poetry, right? So, but instead of understand, it would be identify as definitely overused. Is what is this? Like convert? It's not convert. What is it when you talk? Translate, right? Translate. Derive meaning from a 18th century poet. Because in that, in that sense, they need to like be able to extract. It's a more critical thinking level. It's like I don't want to just identify the verbs, but to be able to interpret in a interpret, right? So interpret a Spanish poem from the 18th century, right? And so let me just tell you, like with choices, I would give detention to kids 1 period a day. They give me a release period to hang out in the detention office. Kid comes in, he is bad. This teacher's awful and the worst. Oh yeah, hold on. You can tell me about how bad the teacher is in 1 minute. Thursday or Saturday detention? I'm talking really loud so the microphone. Thursday or Saturday detention? The kid's like, Thursday? Okay, Thursday, go ahead. Please continue with your rant about how evil this teacher is. Then they're like frozen. They're just like, don't even know what to say because someone gave them a choice. Right? And so just think about if you give kids one option, what one thing is going to engage 100% of your students? None. I had one teacher, she's like, I had my students doing dance, transversal, and not all of them wanted to do that. You gave kids one choice and they didn't all want to do that. I am shocked. Duh. So when you write your learning objective, think about how kids who might want to do it a different way, I always try to do 3 different options per lesson. Right? You can make a video, you can fill out this worksheet of 30 problems, or you can diagram how it connects to something else, right? So they can do it at different DOK levels, or they can just grind out 30 math problems, or you can try to do problems 1 through 10 or problems 11 through 20. It doesn't have to be good choices, but just giving kids choices makes them feel like they have control over themselves, right? So when you write your learning objectives, is it allowing you to identify, like a kid's just sitting there doing nothing, you're like, dude, okay, I see you don't like this, would you do this instead? We do that all the time, right? We get to know our kids and we're like, okay, I know that you like to 3D print, could you 3D print me at home? I don't know what that means, but the fact is that all the time we walk over and we make exceptions for kids to try and hook them into their learning. So it's not, I shouldn't have to modify the learning objective to make modifications for kids. So write it more generically that you're really, what is it you're really measuring? Are you measuring their ability to make a poster? Anyone teaching a poster making class? Anyone? Okay. Besides me, anyone teaching a Google Slides class? Like even for me, where I assign you to make Google Slides, do I really want you to make Google Slides, or I want you to use a presentation tool that allows people to collaborate? Like that's more my learning objective, right? I just really like Google Slides. There we go, Cindy. Excellent. So here we've got identified 2 writers. I would just even take out the 2 because that still feels fairly specific to an assignment, but you're able to identify writers from the golden age, Spanish golden age. What DOK level is that? Probably 1, might be 2. If there was like, these are the qualities of a Spanish golden age writer. Here's some writing samples. Which ones of these are from that era? What DOK level is that?
1.
It's hard. Okay, so if I said these are the qualities of a writer of the Spanish Golden Age, and I gave you a bunch of writing samples, and you had to pick out which ones were from the Golden Age and which ones were not. What DOK level would that be? 3, right? Because you're going to make a claim and justify it with evidence. I say these because, if I just say these, then that's not 3. Hard, super hard.
So what would mine fall into?
What, interpret a Spanish poem? That's a good question. What do you guys think? Interpret a Spanish poem from the 19th century.
3.
We're gonna vote for 3. Let's do fingers.
You gotta know a lot.
Yep, it could be a 2 or a 3, and David is totally 100% right on that, because some is gonna, how much are their own thinking coming into it versus taking information you've given them and applying to it. If they take information you give them and applying to it, 2. Yeah. Do you see why it's so hard? Same task, how you structure it, how you scaffold it. So ask yourself, who's doing the thinking? Are you thinking for the kids? Let's be honest, that's been our traditional structure. And so it's hard. How do you teach not like how you were taught? That's hard. That's really hard. I'll tell you right now, my entire learning, even in my doctoral program, I'm not getting a lot of complex critical thinking stuff going on. Some. But I took honors classes and all kinds of, my math degree, how much of that stuff was complex critical thinking? Here's how this went down. I walk into class and the teacher starts writing things on the board that are not English or numbers. They are Greek symbols. He says this means for every, this means such, and this means in Z space. Let's go. And he just starts writing down math proofs that I furiously copy because I can't hardly keep up. And then I photocopy this, what the proof is. I put it on packets and I photocopied it, and then I would try and recreate the proof from memory so that I could copy the proof onto the test. What DOK was that? 1. And I'm telling you right now, that was hard. But it was 1. If I'm memorizing and following steps. Graph a parabola. What DOK level? 1. Multiply these two binomials together. 1. Pretty much the entire math book. Section 5.3 tells you how to do it. Practice problems 5.3. 1. I'm not thinking. I'm using what you just told me to use. Now, if you get put all the math problems in a big giant heap and said figure out which formula you got to use, now we're getting closer to 2. All right, what time is this? What time is this supposed to go to? That's too long. Let's do the last one. You ready? So the last one is to make a Voki. This is supposed to be fun. Kind of like making memes. I'm going to let you figure that out. I could tell you I do it. I've made many Vokies. Who's doing the thinking? How's it going over there, Justin? Good? Are you able to hear me okay as I'm ranting over there? Okay. Homeless people have told me to keep it down. That's not a joke. That's truth. Ms. Keeler, can you talk slower and quieter? No, I cannot, but thanks for asking. All right, so I'm just going to give you a few minutes to make your Voki, and then I'm going to make one because then I have to figure out how we're going to share it. I think in the Google Plus community, but I'm not positive. It's been a while since I've made these. Do not have public computers remember your password. Just saying. Okay. Oh, right. Okay, what does that look like? Right, what community is this?
Applies distance formula.
Okay, so what I did when I was done, I did the G+. You could tweet it. Probably just get this link and put it into Google+, but I clicked on G+, and then I got rid of public, and I added, there's a community. See, it has a little picture of the community. Whoops. Whatever. And then you have to pick that it's like fun and interesting, or whatever category you want to put it under, and then you can post it. So if anyone needs any help posting it to Google+, or put it to Twitter, you can put it on the link on the slides if you don't want to put it on Twitter or Google+. Put it on Google+. Do what you want. Do what you want. You should never do, put stuff out on the public internet that you don't feel comfortable doing. I like how the Voki follows my cursor or my mouse. I can make her roll her eyes.
Applies distance formula.
You need help? And then you can do the text option and it'll speak with text. It follows your mouse.
No, no,
Oh.
just everything.
Yeah. Oh, I know it. All the other websites like that? Just the Chrome, I don't know. This guy's a little big and weird too. But it's not big and weird on mine back there.
Yeah.
I cannot explain it. Oh yeah, okay, so if you go down, it should say get publish. Oh, you used the premium. You gotta change this guy. Scroll up. You gotta pick somebody who's free. I mean, you guys see how Voki doesn't increase learning. I mean, all it does is it speaks what you typed in there. But kind of fun, right? Give me a learning objective. For Spanish.
For Spanish.
Yeah.
Two sentences.
Speak 2 sentences fluently. Oh, is that? Pretty good. Pretty good, right? Starts with a verb. Vague enough, it can be any sentence, right? Students could demonstrate this in multiple ways. And I need it to be speak, right? I think it's pretty good. Fluent learning objectives. but we're playing with different tools. So we did today's meet and Voki, we're landing with Voki and spreadsheets.
Yeah, for you, it's hard. For me, it's, I don't know, spreadsheet still.
We need to have an intervention.
No, I find my house, I feel.
Oh, for the coding? Yeah.
I have it coded. I coded something, what was it? I can't remember now.
Alright, tell me if I already nerdy bragged about this.
These were gone last week.
Oh, what happened to the what I was printing? Didn't print.
These weren't even here last week.
Yes, you need to like use these.
They were gone last week. How could I even count on it?
Okay, so this one's printing, this one is not printing. Let's reverse the material. It'd be great if I had paid attention to that.
Okay, my online friends, when you are done with your Voki, we are done with this workshop. So if you just want to post that somewhere, like to Google Plus or somewhere, Twitter, put it on the slides, put the link on the slides, whatever works for you. You can put it on the event page. But if you share your Voki, that is hopefully helpful for you to know how to write learning objectives, and secondly, just introduce you to some new tools that you may or may not want to use.
That's cute.
New material.
So yeah, I can't count on it. I asked Mono if I could use them at the same time. He said, there's two of them.
Yeah, the answer is yes. The answer is yes.
And there's nobody in
And
here
I'm
in my
gonna-
class either.
Well, I'll have a workshop between 4 and 7, so, you should join my event page, my Google Classroom, because, join my Google Classroom, so what I'm doing this semester, you might notice that you show up here from 4 to 7 often, and I'm not here.
Yeah.
Because, I travel well. So, instead, I'm just setting up workshops. And some of them are 4 to 7 on Tuesday, and some of them, like, I'm gonna be tomorrow at 10 a.m. in the library, and then on Friday at 7 p.m. in the library. And just, we're just gonna circle up in a circle and talk about teaching, whatever. So,
It's the Alice Keeler modern method.
yeah, well, when I can't be here, but I'm here. So anyway, I really wanted to give my students more choice this semester. It might be choice overload. I don't know. You can ask them how it's going.
I'll ask in a few weeks.
Okay. Well, it's week 4.
True.
David, you getting the hang of things?
I see.
Not the vote, you mean the class.
I see. 7 years.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you didn't make it count, you probably didn't. No, I'm not even can. They're fun, right? So if you just think about like how when I put Google Plus in my directions, how to put those memes, how you could just throw a Voki in there every so often. It's like that, right? Oh, well, there's free, it's the premium model, so they should use the free portion of it. And so, well, but then it just moves, so move your mouse right here, because I follow your mouse, and then you click play. It should speak your thing, you've got sound, it's telling you that, so this link is supposed, just paste that into Google Plus. Good speaker here. So it still can be, so like it moves with your mouse, the eyeballs move around, and then there's a play button, it'll speak what you typed in there. I think it's pretty cool. Oh, I was getting my doctorate from Boise State, and they my doctorate in ed tech with an emphasis in games and simulation. Doesn't that sound like it should be forward thinking? But they're not. So me and the program director recognize. I was like, I see my friends from the program posting on Facebook all the pain and suffering they're going through because I teach tech. I'm feeling good about this decision. And then like this one thing was really great and overlooked about it, you can get a smaller task. But it's higher critical thinking. You know. And I'll do that in the direction side a little bit more. It is a little bit in this week. It's just like there's so much stuff to like know for lesson plan. Just like surface level. That's all I got for you.
Make the changes because we don't stay in.
I like to creative critical thinking. Should put that to the class. That's right? Now think of how we rob kids of that stuff that we like. So, anyway, I don't give you points in here because I want you to feel like it's okay to like make something explode. Well, that's important. But how you learn is just pushing buttons. I tell you that you are above the technology level, right? Yeah, obviously, you're good, and you have the best attitude. Everything. Just be all about it. It's just a lot of work. I'm not worried about you. I already know your name. Yeah. You don't have to do that. You don't have to. But see, like when I had resources, I posted them in there just so they were easy to find. That's one of the activities from the agenda. Oh. Yeah. So if you look on the agenda, there's a number 24. I mean, you should not ever have to just be poking around in Google Classroom and like, what did you put in there? Like, I direct you to go there. So like when we're together in this room, I'm like, okay, I put this for the workshop that's in there. And if you're not here in that workshop, I never directed you, and everybody else never got directed to that in the classroom. This is my class. This is just pass out the class. Okay? It's so easy to pass out the classroom. Yeah. I can, in 40 seconds, I create a document, pass it out to everybody. Yeah, what I would do is I would file make a copy because I would do that. Name it if you want to name it. Okay. So here's the thing is because what I use what's called revision history. When you file revision history, and it shows me what it looked like at different points in time. So I reuse it by going to revision history and then clicking on the last time when I created it or when I finished it. And it puts the way it looks where everyone messed it up, and then I can use it next year. So in your Google Drive. So if you want to, click on this folder and put it in a folder. But spring CI 149, those are good ones. Yeah, good. Perfect. Let's have your zoom in. control plus and control minus, control plus and control minus. So sometimes when things aren't looking quite right, yeah, because sometimes a lot of math will be like, oh, there's the button. What's in your Google Drive? Yeah, just go to Drive tab. So let me stop this video and let me help you with that problem. Because we're gonna, that is a problem, and I can fix it.
All right, bye guys.